Hello, welcome to Mina's bookshelf. Today I'm doing a deck comparison and I'm looking at the Moonchild Tarot that was in my collection before, and this Moonchild Tarot Shadow Edition that was recently released by Danielle Noel. I have just purchased a copy. I wasn't sure I wanted one in the beginning because I was perfectly happy with this edition of the Moonchild. I also looked at some videos on YouTube and I realized that the colors on this edition looked, at least looked in video, much more muted. So I actually like the brightness of this one, but I wanted to look at the actual deck to make my decision. And I know that in the end I'm going to keep both decks. I have multiple editions of the Star Child Tarot, for example. I will never get rid of anything that comes from Danielle Noel. But I wanted to understand which one actually appeals to me the most. Um, the boxes look exactly the same except for the coloration. We have white background here. We have this beautiful plum, dark plum purple here. Same, I would say, same very smooth finish for the paper. They look basically the same in the back. We have a previews of the cards, 9 previews here, only 6 with UV spot glossing. As far as regards the lid, I'm sure we can find nice designs inside. We have the Egyptian motif in the old edition, and we have this beautiful affirmation: blooming light, blooming shadow, in the shadow edition. I normally don't use the extra cards in my decks, so they're always at the bottom of the deck, but this time, for comparison reasons, I will include them in the deck. This is the inside of the bottom part of the deck. You are the dance of light and shadow. And on the bottom of the other one, there is Seek the Unseen. These are beautiful decks. I love the quality and the great pricing, because for what you get with these decks, the prices are really reasonable compared to many other independently produced tarot decks that are coming on are available nowadays. Let's take a brief look at the guidebooks. Strong Egyptian motif in this copy. This beautiful floral motif, gold on plum. There's an introduction here in the older edition. There is a lot of writing regarding the moon, the lunar history, polarity and the divine, the goddess, a history of tarot, the journey, the cards, the major arcana, the minor arcana, the court cards, the elements, reversed cards, shuffling before reading, imbuing your cards, moon bath ritual, reading your cards, reading for others, working with the moon. So there's an extensive write-up about lunar phases. And then we get into the cards themselves. Extensive write-up, and I think there are some spreads in the back of the book. 1 card spread, 3 cards draw, spiral spread, shadow spread, Isis spread, lunar spread, chalice spread, triple goddess spread, and then thank you notes and bibliography. I believe that this one is pretty much the same. Everything is softer. It feels much softer. This rose petal finish even on the cover of the book. Let's see inside if it's the book features the same. The welcome, Mama Luna, lunar history, polarity in the divine. It's the same as the other one, Goddess Hecate, the goddess. A history of Tarot. I think it's pretty much the same. The journey, the minor arcana, the suits, the shuffling, the information about lunar phases, and then the look of the write-up for each of the arcana looks pretty much the same. And I do believe that except for the coloration of the pages, nothing really changes here. And the spreads are the same, also in the Shadow Edition guidebook. All right. As far as the cards are concerned, of course, the coloration is different. We continue with the white, gold on white motif in the old edition, and the gold on purple on the Shadow Edition. This one has this matte gold gilding that holds up really well. This is a deck that I actually use for readings for other people, so I use it quite often. And as I said before, the quality of these decks is exceptional. So even after a lot of shuffling, there are no damages to the cardstock. Cards don't chip. The gilding is always there intact, and even the boxes are so sturdy that even if you keep them on a shelf for a long time, there's no shelf wear visible. The Shadow Edition has this beautiful glittery purple matte gilding, really nice. And the other main difference is the cardstock. We have the satin finish matte for the old edition, and we have the rose petal for the Shadow Edition. And I have to say, between the two, I always prefer the rose petal. So I love this one, don't get me wrong. The cards glide against each other really well, they don't stick together. And of course, you can expect a deck printed on this kind of cardstock, the rose petal finish, to be kind of sticky, but I don't mind. I love it. I love the tactile sensation. I find it very lavish, very luxurious, and I wish sometimes that this one had the same cardstock too, but that's fine. Let's go and take a look at the differences. Oh, the other thing that I forgot to say, these cards feel thicker and sturdier compared to these. These are a tad thinner, much more flexible, and of course more easy to shuffle than this. I don't know exactly the GSM. I know this is 400 GSM. I don't know how much is this one. It might be a 350, I believe. Yeah, it feels like a 350. Still very sturdy though. Okay, there will be a little bit of reflection of the light, and these cards, even if they are matte, they do catch the light. So let's see how we're gonna do this. Maybe I can do this like this. We have the Fool. It's a specular image in the Shadow Edition, and although the coloration is very similar, this is much more muted. There is less contrast on the outlines here of the image of the dog. this cliff. Yeah, definitely more muted. My favorite is, of course, this one. I prefer a little bit more definition in the color. The Magician, completely different artwork. We have a magician that is more reminiscent of the RWS traditional deck. This one has this Egyptian motif with the snake and the roses, completely different, but I do like it. And probably between the two, I would say I really like this one. Almost prefer this one, but I mean, I'm partial to this deck in general, to the older edition, for several reasons. High Priestess. As a rule of thumb, I would say that the older edition of the Moonchild is follows the RWS symbolism more than the Shadow edition does. But I do like to see the veil on the High Priestess here in the Shadow edition that we don't have here. We don't even have the veil here in the back. So this idea of mystery, of hiding something, it comes through more easily in this artwork. Empress, different. We have the power of 3, creativity, exemplified by these 3 women, and we have only one Empress here on the shadow in the Shadow edition. But I have to say I really like this one, probably more than this one. The Emperor, very young Emperor. The way I look at the Emperor and Kings in a tarot deck is ideally an individual that shows chronological age as a symbol also of wisdom. So this Emperor looks a little too young, and I believe also a little too much in his Zen zone. I would expect the Emperor to have a more fierce look for the way I like to read a card. So I would say, although I love this card, I love the imagery, this is my favorite. This one for me is more like a 4 of Swords or a 4 of Cups. Even in a Hierophant would be more suited for this kind of imagery. Talking about the Hierophant, they're the same, just the coloration is different, more muted in the Shadow edition. I prefer this one. The Lovers, about the same, just the coloration is different. Same goes for the Chariot card. Also the font on the bottom is less bold than the one used in the older edition. Colors are different. The Strength card, I really like this one. I actually prefer this one. Oops. The Hermit, completely different. I prefer the older version. Here we have a silhouette that is far away. You can barely see it. You can see the footprints here on the ground. Too ethereal for me. Wheel of Fortune, very similar, just different coloration. The Justice card, different coloration but same images. The Hangman, same, different coloration. The Death card, something changes in the Temperance for the new Shadow edition. It's very watery, also for the selection of colors with this beautiful green aqua color. Um, I mean, this one is more in line with the RWS tradition, and the idea of balance and divine angelic presence is more clear in this one. This one really feels like a moon card to me in the shadow edition. Yeah, or a two of swords, or an eight of cups. The devil. They renamed the card Dark Veil. I'm fine with that. I actually like it. Yeah, I mean, I like the concept for this card. I'm not very fond of horned heads when it comes to the devil card. In any case, I never liked the devil card in the RWS. But I did like the serpent, the presence of the serpent here, the presence of these two individuals in this card. But I really like this one too. The meaning gets through. The tower, about the same, different colors. The star, same. Moon card, the same, except for the colors, much more muted. The sun changes a little bit. There's actually a phase here in the shadow edition, and the sun actually here is going down. The lighting is much different. I prefer this one. Judgment. I don't really have an opinion about this card because I have to say I don't like either of them. I mean, they're beautiful cards, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel the card, and I don't feel like the artwork conveys really the meaning of the card in any of them. The universe. I like them both. The Ace of Cups. Beautiful, both of them. With this Kundalini reawakening here. The Two of Cups. Different. I prefer this one, although this one is beautiful as well. The Three of Cups. I don't really get this one. I probably need to look at the guidebook to see what the Danielle Noel meant by using this cauldron. I mean, in a way, I get it. It's about sharing, connecting, sharing resources. But I think that this is a much easier card to read. These are not, these collage art style decks are not decks that I would recommend for a new reader. But I think if I had to pick one of the two for somebody who's just learning now the tarot, I would probably recommend the older edition because it seems to follow the symbolism of the RWS a little more than the other version does. Four of Cups, they're basically the same. Five of Cups, they're different. This is so snowy scenery. I see actually 4 cups in total here. Where's the 5th cup? I don't see the 5th cup here. I see 2 still standing up, actually 3 still standing up. 1 is down, and where is the 5th one? We have 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we have the 6 of Cups. I prefer this one. There's more of an idea of longing, of looking at something that is distant, probably distant in the past. Beautiful card, but I don't really get the 6 of Cups in here. Energy, I mean, 7 of Cups, basically the same. Eight of Cups. Beautiful, completely different, but I do prefer this one because I actually see this person walking towards, away from the Eight of Cups, neatly stacked here, um, heading up for the mountains with the moon. Beautiful though, this one. The Nine of Cups. Of course, I prefer this one. It's very very shimmery. Ten of Cups. I like to see the rainbow color here, the 10 cups here, lined up like the bow of a rainbow, but there's a complete lack of people in here in the new shadow edition, so I prefer the old edition. The Page of Cups, I like them both. I actually really like this one. The Knight of Cups, more traditional in the sense of, knight is a person that rides a horse. That gives you the idea of movement, how the action progresses, how the messages move. The other one is pretty stationary, but I like the idea of this person standing in water. The queens are the same, except for the colors. King, she changed the direction of the cards here. But there's something that I never liked about the direction of the faces of the court cards in these decks, that they will never face each other unless one of the two is upside down, in reverse. I like when the creators create the deck in such a way that the cards can actually face each other, the court cards. Ace of Swords, about the same. Two of Swords. Three of Swords. Just the color of the background changes here. Four of Swords. I prefer this one, more traditional. A lot of mirrored images and doubles in the Shadow Edition. Five of Swords. And I do believe that this is the Five of Swords from one of the editions of the Star Child. I might be wrong, but it looks very familiar. I do believe that I've seen this in the Star Child. I have to double check. Like them both. Six of Swords. Water under the bridge. This one is my favorite, I think. The Seven of Swords, about the same except for the coloration. The Eight of Swords are exactly the same. Nine of Swords. Ten of Swords. I always prefer the presence of a person in the card, so this is my favorite version. The Page of Swords. The Knight. The Queen. Again, specular rendition. The King of Swords. The Ace of Pentacles, about the same. Different Two of Pentacles here with the rose. Very muted color. The Three of Pentacles stays the same. So does the Four of Pentacles. The same. Five of Pentacles is different. I like them both, but I like to see this person who doesn't have clothes, that is feeling very vulnerable and very diminished. So I think this is my favorite version, the older Moonchild tarot version. Six of Pentacles. Beautiful card, but it really doesn't give me any Six of Pentacles energy, while this one does. Seven of Pentacles, completely different, and I really don't get the boat here. This is more of a Six of Swords vibe, or I don't know, a Three of Wands. Eight of Pentacles, really nice, I like it. Nine of Pentacles is the same. Ten of Pentacles is the same. Page. This is my favorite, the older version. The Knight of Pentacles doesn't change much, except for this specular image and more muted colors in the new Shadow Edition. Queen of Pentacles. Actually, for a Shadow Edition, I would have liked darker colors. That would have made more sense for me for a more shadow work and for that kind of energy. I think this is my favorite Queen of Pentacles ever. Really like it. This is our King. Still the same. And the Wands, we have the same Ace. Different Two of Wands. I don't like it. I have to say, I really don't like it. This is my favorite. Three of Wands. I mean, I like to see this figure, this person here standing on the cliff, looking out into the horizon, but this one is my favorite. Four of Wands. This is definitely my favorite. Five of Wands. Neither of these two cards actually conveys the idea of conflict and battle and chaos and confrontation, but I do prefer this one. Six of Wands. Two cobras in both of the cards. I like to see the head of an emperor. I don't remember exactly which emperor this one is. It could be Augustus, but it's a symbol of power and victory, so I do like it. I do like it. Seven of Wands is different. The Eight of Wands. This is so washed off, the coloration of this one. I don't like it. Nine of Wands. Although I really love this image, this is my favorite. Ten of Wands. Definitely prefer this one. Is more meaningful. The artwork is more meaningful. Page of Wands. This one remains my favorite. Knight of Wands. I really love this image, but this is my favorite. It carries the message through better than this one. Queen of Wands, just a color change. The King, and then we have the hold on, where's the Moonchild card? They're completely different. I do prefer the old version, although I never use these cards in the deck. I actually put them to the side. I don't use them for my readings. Shadow work, I mean, it makes sense. Very dark cards. This one is still my favorite, but I really like this one too. And the Divine Wisdom stays the same. All right, so the biggest difference is coloration and the artwork in a few of the cards. I'd say that my favorite remains this one. I actually wish that the cardstock for this deck was that picked by Danielle Noel was actually the rose petal. I would have loved to have the rose petal on this one, and then it would have been perfection. But I definitely prefer this version. Will I be using them both for my readings? Certainly. I'll give it a try. And if I end up not being really happy with my readings, I'll just keep it as part of my collection. Just an idea of, I have a lot of collage art, cosmic, star seeding, moon energy, oracle decks that would get along with this one pretty well. But there's actually an oracle deck that just came into my collection that has nothing to do with Moonchild energy. It's the Land of Giants by Stephen Hatton. This is a US Games deck that was just released. It's inspired to a fantasy world of fairy folks creatures. So as you can tell, there's nothing that in common with the Moonchild Tarot, but there is something about the decks, that shadowy effect, the mutedness of colors that made me think that maybe these two decks can go well together. So I'm gonna give this a quick shuffle. Oops. Still difficult to shuffle. Okay. So I'm gonna pick a card from this deck. And we have the Five of Swords. I'm thinking about a particular person in a particular situation. So what do we need to know about this Five of Swords? New look. I thought that there was something about these two decks that might work well together. I'll keep working on it. The Guardian with the King of Wands. See how totally different they are when it comes to artwork, but I don't know, I'm drawn to these two decks together, Self-Awareness and Queen of Wands. And one more, we have the Unknowable with the Knight of Wands. All right, so this was my comparison between the Moonchild Shadow Edition, I'm making a mess here, and the old edition. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which one do you prefer, if you have them at all, or which one would you rather acquire if you had to purchase one of them. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.